What's up, everybody? Trainer Steve checking in for this momentous Momentum Morning, the Friday edition. We've made it through the week. We're carrying our habits, and we're going into the next week even stronger. I'm Trainer Steve. We're here holding you accountable and giving you an unfair advantage on your day to get your head thinking about what to be thinking about. Today, we are covering the cognitive bias, the heuristic hazard to look out for this weekend, and what sabotages a lot of people's diets, as well as some thoughts on moderation. All right. And then after that, we'll be doing the habit roll call live, giving shout outs to the live check ins. All right. Today, we're going to move now to the heuristic hazard. Heuristic hazards. Restraint bias is the tendency for people to overestimate their ability to control impulsive behavior. What that means is that when we get going on a diet plan and then we see some food that might be tempting us, we hit that slippery slope. We start eating a little bit, and then the next thing we know, we're finishing off that entire bag of chips or whatever it is that we're eating. We think that we can handle it, but as we know from the slogan, bet you can't eat just one. That does apply to this restraint bias. The restraint bias is telling us that we are not able to just have one. So when it comes to your diet, if you think moderation is the key and you've been struggling for a while, maybe moderation is not the ticket. I'm under the belief that you have to rewire your reward pathways. If your reward systems in your brain are so taken over by highly palatable foods, meaning foods that taste really good, that were like scientifically made to trick your brain into saying this is the perfect combination of sugar, fat, and salt. There's something called the bliss point when it comes to food chemistry. And scientists have shown that when they have a specific ratio of sugar, fat, and salt, it hits the addictive pathways of the brain in the highest form of excitation. So these scientists are literally working day by night trying to figure out how to hypnotize you and brainwash your brain into liking addictive foods. So then it's like you taking little bits of cocaine or little bits of methamphetamine or heroin or something like that, and just saying, I'll just have a little bit of meth. I'll just have a little bit of cocaine. I'll just have a little bit of heroin, right? And then you're thinking, well, I won't get addicted because I'm strong. And that's the thing with this bias, this cognitive. We change the vocabulary around addiction when it comes to food because we don't want to feel insecure as a nation. But there's plenty of functional alcoholics who are better people than people out there who don't drink. It's so arbitrary, but we like to put negativity on things, right? So if you're an alcoholic, food is, when the truth is there are so many food addicts out there who are destroying their lives almost worse than alcoholics are. So it's something to think about. Bad food can be horrendous for you. It can be a poison, it can be a toxin, and that could influence others to eat that way too. So in that sense, food can be a drug, right? But people don't talk about that very often. So if you're not in control of this slippery slope bias, if you're just in the evening or something like that, then we got to really realize that we need to abstain from eating bad foods for long enough to let our brain rewire. As Evelyn will attest to you in the group, because she has been going on under her monkey brain isn't as excited and wired by sugary foods because it's learned that it can get along with healthier, happier foods. For the people who have been submitting their habits and giving them the credit they deserve, like the lovely Miss Evelyn right here. Good morning, day 101 of no sugar over 6 grams. Got my stretches, kettlebell swings, clean lifts done, hip exercises done. Check back with my protein later today. Have a great day. Beautiful. Thank you, Miss Evelyn, for that prime example of how we're doing our habits and our check-ins here, giving you credit, and your body is loving you. As you've been reporting, you've been dropping about a pound or so a week or every other week, and on a good trajectory. Chantel's giving us a live check-in here. Good morning. Yesterday, was accomplished, and I'm my birthday. My sister and we ate and celebrated his 27th birthday. Back on track today. What you're saying today, do you think cutting out MSG will help me cut cravings? There's no MSG in everything. It's MSG in everything nowadays. culprits in food. That's a good question. There's a lot of demons and culprits in food. The thing about MSG is there's some science that shows that it really is a neurotoxin, like an excitatory neurotoxin. And so neurons are excited, like because it tastes good, sort of what I was talking about with hyperpalatable foods. And then those cells kind of die out, and then it leaves you in a more of like a depressed type of state. So that being said, I think that some people overblow how bad MSG is for you. I think really the culprit is continually eating foods as your main staple that aren't good for you. And what we like to do here is instead of thinking about what the healthy things actually put in my body, because when you start telling yourself what you can have, and you keep eating those healthier things, those bad things start to move themselves out and go away. So, great question. Do I think cutting out MSG will help cut cravings? Yes. Ultimately, I do. I do think it would help with that. But also, I think using that as your radar for like, should I eat this food or should I not? Does it have MSG? Does it not? There are other things you can use as your radar, right, that you can lock into. Like the way Evelyn is doing it, I'm not having foods over 6 grams of sugar. Protein count, that's something we've been talking about a lot for a while. So tracking how much protein you're getting, tracking how many carbs you're eating, tracking how many hours of sleep that you're getting, tracking how many meals you're prepping. Those kind of things I think are going to have a bigger effect overall in the long run than thinking about MSG. I hope that was a long-winded but thorough answer for you there. Squats will be 4. Mr. Barron says eating was 9 out of 10. Weight is 201. Mr. Barron and I will be doing squats today. I'm a little nervous, starting to get heavy. I already did 5 of them. I'm trying to break it up into chunks now. It's getting too heavy for me to do all at once. So I got 5 down already, and I got 10, 11 more to go or something like that. Not too bad. Now to the rest of the habit roll call of the day. If I can find the group, there it is. Boom. Alrighty, no intro today on that one. Yesterday's post, how to beat procrastination with the Zeigarnik effect. If you didn't remember, the Zeigarnik effect involves starting a task and then having the desire to want to finish that task until it is done with completion. I'm sure you all know that. Once you've started a certain thing, it's hard not to stop, which is including binge eating. Yes. We didn't mention that yesterday, but binge eating, once you've given your brain the okay light that it's okay to start binge eating, usually most people have done that before they've actually started binge eating. They've made a decision in their head, where I call it the F it, where you say, F it. I'm not going to worry about food anymore. I'm going in. And it feels really good to say, F it. I'm not going to worry at all, right? And then the loop has now opened to say, it's binge eating time. And then you're going to keep binging. And there's food that looks good. Your brain will say, I'm going to keep eating that thing until that food is gone, because my loop is not going to close until I've finished the foods, because that's been what your binge eater brain told you to do. So that's also something to consider with the Zeigarnik effect. If you have healthier foods out there, or if you could at least just get yourself started on making a healthier meal, your brain is going to want to finish that task. Same thing for writing things down on paper. If you write down goals on paper, typically your brain is going to be more wired towards wanting to achieve that specific goal. Jonathan Hernandez check-in yesterday, December 9th. I did a cold shower for 33 seconds, and I need to get another light in here or something. I have a new habit, but I'd like to build. That's gratitude, abundance, mindset training. I will write one additional thing down each day. This will be done in my gratitude journal I created. Excellent. Getting the habit of gratitude with the attitude, baby. Nicely done, Mr. Jonathan. As we know in the sciences recently, a lot of literature out there about gratitude and happiness. It is definitely a fundamental component, but sometimes I wonder if gratitude is overhyped in 2020. It's definitely something we all need, right? But the thing is that you need a mix of gratitude and attitude, because if you don't have the attitude to go take care of business, I mean, what, you want to be grateful for being homeless? Like, you could be grateful for that. You could talk to homeless people and they're still grateful to be alive. But is that the condition or place that you want to be in? Is that the person that you were meant to be? So only being grateful, that only takes us so far. Got to have some attitude behind that gratitude to push you, to accelerate you towards your goals. Chantel said she loved the talk yesterday. Those kind words mean so much to me. Matt Bailey, 28 seconds, ice blast, 10 push-ups with 8-pound vest, 10 decline push-ups with vest, 10 glute bridges. Matt Bailey's becoming a CrossFit assassin all of a sudden. I noticed I didn't see any cold showers here. Oh, yeah, you did. 28-second ice blast. It's right there in the front. You're killing it. You're a man warrior. Baron Adams squat 3, but he got 4 in. He's going for 4 today. Sammy, my pup's name is Waffles. I messed up and asked her what the puppy's name. I felt so guilty. It's like, of course, I knew the name already. All right, missing some check-ins here. I'm coming after all of you guys. Who didn't check in this week. We're going to come in and make sure we're all having a healthy weekend, and that's it for this one. Not going to single out anybody. This weekend is coming up. It's Friday right now as we speak. This is when most people tend to let their hair down and sort of destroy their diet and exercise plan. Back when I was in my early 20s in college, I would do so good during the week. I would eat like tuna from a can and celery. I was like so obsessed. I was eating like a bodybuilder but before we knew about how high-fat diets were good. And I was just so dialed in. Right, and I was doing this bodybuilder style workout. I was changing my body. Then the weekend would come. Friday rolls around. I get in my buddy's BMW, and we're driving to the frat party, right? And then there's like pizza, and there's beer and beer pong, and then that turns into like ice cream or chips later in the nighttime, and then that happens again on Saturday. And then you don't feel good on Sunday, so you eat some salty foods to kind of get the hangover gone, right? And then Monday comes around. You've destroyed all of that hard work from Monday through Friday. Right, and I did that for like a few years. So to me, the number one thing is to lock in your weekends to be as safe as possible when it comes to your meals and your eating. Allow yourself to indulge if you've been training and working hard, but if you, as we mentioned today in this slippery slope effect, if you let the slope get too slippery on the weekends, then you're going to get enclosed with trickery. All right, everybody, stick to it to get to it, working hard to go get after it, playing hard to go get after it. Let's play today.
Work.